Hey, Dimitri. Thank you so much for the turnaround on assets. I'm working tonight. I'm about done for the evening, but I worked on getting the new tiles in for the world. So we have the end tiles in the middle there. I also updated the Trello card. It's going to be a bit of a sprawl. But the short version is that I agree with you. I think we can combine some of these assets. So in terms of we don't need to have every single element in the background for the city. I think the biggest ones that are important are having So I think these can be definitely integrated back into the main background sheet. I don't think we get a lot out of these in terms of parallaxing. So, and then let's see here. There's a note in here. So I got the stars in for that. There's some stuff on naming conventions, so no big deal there. And then I got a chunk. I had to redo the names. So I updated our name guide, and I linked that to here. So just because since we're doing a lot of manual environmental work now, and we're not just doing the 5 layers of parallax scrolling, we need a naming convention that makes it easier. I know we did an iteration that's looking good. So, but I updated our kind of codex for that, what this looks like here. So I won't go over it, but I thought I'd call it out for you as well. And that was that. Let's see here. So I just showed you that with the file naming. This also keeps our files on the drive and also in engine in a logical order by file name. So that will help us, help me for the future. But for when we need to adjust things, I'm not looking for different files that aren't sitting next to each other when they should be logically next to each other. So this is a good example of like on the drive, it's always good for me to see the tiles kind of in the order. And the naming convention reflects that. There's a question about separating the parallax. Or no, what was it? Yeah, so there's a little confusion on my end about the difference between these two. I think it might have been because of the parallax. I'm not entirely sure, so we can talk about that when we get a second. And then I did get the moon acid in, and I'll show you that in a second. But I think the moon acid we should flip possibly to be with the Paltech to the left. And let me just show you where we're at. I didn't get a chance to put in any of the separate assets for the world, kind of for the upper atmosphere structures. So none of this is final, obviously. But you can see this is these are still the sizes we talked about on yesterday. Like this guy here is floating. So I mean, they're going to put him in a separate as well, but I'm going to move those guys up so we don't have them in the frame. Something shifted with the tile maps. So I had to tweak the camera a little bit there, but yeah, we still have the dip down here, which is great. I love the city bits. Nothing's going to change in this space in terms of the overall background, as we discussed. So I'm looking forward to seeing our iterations this week. I still left in the giant hangar version, so I'll get the new versions of those in, and hopefully tomorrow. I like that we're accounting for kind of the atmospheric lighting, both on the objects themselves and in the world. And one more giant, like, cool, make good use of our great resolution art. Yay us. I left this in. As I'm continuing to think about this structure, we're going to put a pin in this. We might kill it. I might just extend kind of what we have. I really like the idea of showing like a mega structure that is all about like living quarters and military and a bunch of other things, but we just may not have enough screen time for that. This is an aspect of storytelling in the background, but we're gonna leave it in there for now, but I'm still thinking about it, just so you know. We haven't started any work on it, so that's totally fine. I extended by one more tile the overall city kind of planetary tiling. And then here you can see I had to actually make some adjustments to where where the camera starts and then how far the camera goes up to reveal the boss. So here's what I was talking about with the planet. So I think we should rotate it. We have to flip the actual asset because of I can't just flip it. So, but I think Paltech should probably be shown to the surface. Like that's the power play here since it's over the planet. That was kind of what I was thinking. And this is a nice like, hey, well, you know, the Paltech is, you know, and then it comes to the mega structure. We might raise this up just a tiny bit more, but I already did. And then we come into essentially Quantant, the first like giant PAL mainframe AI sentience boss thing. So yeah, I thought you'd like to see that. We're making some good progress. I made some adjustments to the layering, and then I freaked out a little bit about our texture memory budget. So we just got to be careful that we don't overdo it. But yeah, I think we're still probably okay. But we probably shouldn't build any more out than what we've already done for this scene, as we could carry it through the level, right? So it's probably, we're looking at, what is that? It's a 1, 2, 3. I had a question also about these guys. I don't remember. I put this in the trailer card, by the way. But whether or not we're going to do anything with these in terms of like an effect or a pulsating or like an aura borealis or something like that. But if the answer is no, then we can probably just integrate those back into the city itself. Or if we're not doing with anything else with parallaxing, that might be the thing. There we go. And also, I did put in, as you may or may not have noticed, so here are your stars. I have a very, very slow parallax on the stars in the background. Like you can barely, it's the foreground objects take that, they take all the conveyance of motion. By the way, I really enjoyed, this is just a silly little cheeky detail, right? But I really enjoyed that because we have the planet curvature here, that you did take the data streams and you also curved them just a little bit with the planet. So also I saw this down here. So nice, nice, nice. I'll get into the other things tomorrow. This stuff is taking longer than we expect. There again, my file names, just making sure everything is adjusted as we're getting the stuff in game, that we can work on our file naming convention. All right, that was it. I thought you'd appreciate seeing that, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.